Hello. You're now joining me together with Volvo's XC60. This is a MY26 XC60 finished off in the beautiful Forest Lake metallic over the dark exterior theme. I'm absolutely mesmerized by this new Forest Lake metallic. And for this video we have appropriate surroundings. But the question I will try to answer in this video are, is this the best XC60 so far? Is this now better than ever? Is this the best iteration of Volvo's XC60 ever since it got launched back in 2017? Is this better than ever? That's what we're going to try to find out in this video. But before we're kicking off the video, it's important for me that you understand where I'm coming from, why I'm making this video. And I'm making this video as a Volvo enthusiast, as a Volvo owner. I'm on my 13th Volvo now, 13 in a row. So yeah, my EC40 twin performance. But if we rewind a couple of years, actually my fourth new Volvo was actually a XC60, a model year 18 XC60. I actually took factory delivery of that car the 3rd of October 2017 at Volvo's factory in Torslanda, Gothenburg. Amazing experience to see my car rolling out the factory gates on this handover center and take delivery of my brand new XC60. That is actually the only car I have ordered and bought without even seeing it live and without even testing it. I just saw the live stream from Geneva. I thought, yeah, I want a piece of that. So we ordered a Fusion Red XC60 T8 inscription with the blonde Nappa leather upholstery. Absolutely amazing spec, and it's probably the most gorgeous car I have ever owned in terms of style and class. This Fusion Red with the blonde interior. So that's my entrance to this video as a previous XC60 owner. So during this video I will compare this MY26 with my MY 2018. We're going to start here with the exterior design and the front, the changes on the MY26, because this is a facelift. This is a MY26 facelift. And this, I think this has to be one of the most careful facelifts in Volvo's history the last decade. They really did as little as possible in order to call it a facelift. Really little, but in my opinion they really didn't need to do more, but it is a really careful facelift. And that is also quite peculiar because this XC60 are Volvo's most important car. This is the global hit. This is the global volume model. This is the best selling in Volvo's lineup. So I can't actually understand why they didn't do more, so it will feel even more fresh and more new. But the only thing we are noticing here in the redesigned MY26 are this new grille. You know, previously we had this more structured, dotted version on this dark or design version. But now we have diagonal lines going each way. I'm not quite sure if this is better than ever. I kind of prefer the previous one because this is actually the second facelift. Originally, I can put in a picture here. This is the OG XC60 in the R design version. And then we got a facelift for the MY22 lineup. They didn't change the grille for the MY22, but we got this new lower front bumper. Previously we had this painted version all the way down here, and it was another design on it. So we got a new bumper for MY22. And now for MY26, the only thing that changed was this new grille. Is it better than ever? I don't know. We can ask the question, why didn't Volvo do more? Why didn't they change this lower front bumper as they did on the XC90 facelift? But in my opinion, I'm really glad that they didn't do that, because now the dark version still has its own character. If we compare it against the bright version, the OG, the original bright, and then the MY22 bright, and now the MY26 bright. If you compare the bright versus the dark, you can see that the dark and the bright have a completely different approach, a completely different lower front bumper. That is completely lost on the XC90. And I kind of think that that lower bumper looks kind of sad since it tapers down in that little, like a sad face. So I'm actually glad that they didn't change the bumper, but maybe they should, to give it a more fresh look. And the same goes for the lights. On the XC90, they redesigned this Thor's hammer. They open up the Torx hammer on both sides. Once again, personally, I'm not super amazed by that. I think it looks kind of strange when it's open, especially here on the outer part. I think it's too wide. It should be a more narrow opening, or just keep it as it is. I love these lights. So, but that was the front design of the Model 26. What do you think of the front design? In addition to this new grille, we got some new exterior colors. We got the mulberry red, we got the aurora silver, and we got this new forest lake metallic. This is definitely my favorite exterior color of the new colors. I think I have to say that denim blue is still my favorite. And also, if we go for the bright version, I would go crystal white. That's absolutely breathtaking. In addition to a couple of new exterior colors, such as this forest lake metallic, Volvo have also given us a couple of new alloy designs for the Model 26 update. These here on this car are 21 inch, and I think they look marvelous. But Volvo also have another treat for us. They have a 22 inch alloy available. And if you compare the 22 inch alloy with the wheel arch extenders, the running boards, then you really have a winner. It looks wicked with that setup. But if we try now to summarize the facelift, we had the new front grille, we had new exterior colors, and we had new alloy design. But is that all? Volvo have actually done one more thing on the exterior, and that's here on the rear. Can you see it? Maybe you can't even notice it, but maybe you know what it is. It is actually darker tail glass, same as we saw on the redesigned XC90. Because now the XC60 as well gets these darker tail glass. And I think this is a nice addition. I really appreciate this darker tail glass. But that was it. That was the exterior changes on the redesigned XC60. As you may see, Volvo have done as little as possible on this facelift. Maybe it is the bare minimum for what you can do in order to call it a facelift. It's a really gentle facelift. But is it better than ever? In my opinion, I still think the XC60 looks marvelous. This here, the Model 26, is like 9 out of 10. The only thing I wish, because I kind of prefer the previous dark grille, this more structured dotted version, the previous R-Design dark grille versus this one. The bright I like, but the dark one, I kind of prefer the previous one. So that's why it's like 9 out of 10. But the rest, I still love the XC60. But what do you think? What do you think about this exterior changes? And now if we continue with the other things Volvo did for the redesigned XC60 before we are jumping inside. Because Volvo actually gave it, made it more quiet. They put acoustic foam in the A and B pillars to reduce the noise inside the cabin. So better noise insulation. That's a good thing. I've been driving now for like approximately over 1,000 kilometers, maybe 1,200. And I think it's really, really quiet inside the cabin. It's so pleasant, so sublime. Yeah, really, really pleasant. So noise insulation are now a step up. And then you may ask, did they do anything technical? Did they do anything with the battery, since this is a T8 plug-in hybrid? And sadly, I have to disappoint you. They actually did nothing regards to the T8 and T6 plug-in hybrid. We still have the same battery, 18.8 kilowatt hours battery and 14.9 kilowatt hours usable. But this was first launched as a Model 22.5 update. So they haven't done anything since Model 22.5. I wish they could give it an even more bump, especially now for the facelifted Model 26. I think they should have bumped the battery even more, because the competition are strong. And just look at Volvo's latest launch, the XC70. For now, only available in China. But that has an electric range up to 200 kilometers. That is a EREV, so extended range electric vehicle. But it is a plug-in hybrid. And I think there's still a huge demand for Volvo's plug-in hybrids, so I wish they bumped the battery ever so slightly. It has been like this since Model 22.5. But if we compare it against my own previous XC60, the Model 18, then this is really better than ever. Because I had a battery on half the size. It was like, was it 9.2 or 11.4 kilowatt hours? Can't remember now on top of my head, but they have really bumped the electric range. So now this has a WLTP on 81 kilometers. And I've already posted a video where I took an electric range test. And I crushed the WLTP figures. So in terms of that, it is better than ever. At least if we compare with my model 18. If you compare with the model 24 or 25, you can decide, because then it's just new colors, new grille. So yeah, careful facelift. But let's now jump inside for the biggest changes. And then jumping inside for maybe the most controversial parts of this redesign XC60. Obviously, I'm thinking about this glued on touchscreen, and we're going to talk about that. But I think we have to start more gently. We're going to start with the center console, because that has been redesigned. We now have a 2+1 cup holder situation and the smartphone charger, because previously the charger was located like here. But now it is moved in front of the gear shifter. So pretty convenient placement. You can still operate and use the cup holders for storage or drinks. So redesign center console. And then yeah, we have to talk about the screen. In terms of physical integration, or from a design perspective, I think this is horrendous. Holy crap. It looks like it's glued on top of the original screen. I'm not gonna lie, it's literally just glued on top, or at least it looks like it. I can imagine how painful this must be for the original designers of the SPA series, the 90 range and the 60 range, when they designed this in like 2014 or 2013. I think this is perfection. And then, yeah, 10 years later, they glue a freaking iPad on top of the screen. Messes up the design language of the dashboard. So from a physical design perspective, I think this looks really bad. And I think also the screen, this bezel is, I think this is way too, why can't you fill it out all the way to the top? Because you can't fill it out to the edge. So it's slightly weird. So the physical integration, not good. But the user interface, I have to be clear, I absolutely love it. I think this is the best iteration that they have ever had. The layout is so big icons. See here, the shortcut, the settings, so easy to operate. Driving, everything easy to operate, and drive mode, easy accessible. So user interface is very good. And the screen, since it's glued on top of the other one, it's also 1 inch closer to you. Or not a full inch, but it's like a little bit closer, so it's easier to operate. You don't have to stretch so far. And I really love this screen, despite the shortcomings design-wise. But the user interface, really, really good. If we compare it against my previous XC60, the model 18, because this one has the Android Automotive operating system. My previous XC60 had the sensors, so Volvo's own. And the biggest thing I missed with the sensors cars was the drive mode selector wheel. I still miss it today, but not as much now with this new user interface, because there's one tap here and then you can quickly access your drive modes. So it is not, it is better, but it's not perfect, but at least it's better than it was. I wish we could still have this drive mode selector wheel, but yeah, it is what it is. If we jump over to the driver display for a little moment, because I have to be honest, this is not better than ever. This is worse than ever. This is really, really bad, because if you look at it now, we have the map viewing. I'll just take away that, we have the map viewing, and I can just press once, and then you get this arrow when you have active navigation. If you don't have active navigation, then you will just have a black space in the middle, and then it's back to the navigation. That is all. You can't change anything. You can't change themes. You can't change colors. You can't put in media information. You can't put in phone. Nothing. I'm really surprised that time after time, every time they do a new OTA, they don't do anything with the driver display. Yes, it's slightly changed from the model 25.5 XC90. The map is slightly bigger, and you have a black box outside of, behind the icons. So, but come on, this black box has to go. We have to get media information or something, or phone or anything. But in terms of the driver display, I think that is really bad. I wish we could see more customization options. If we go back to the screen ever so slightly before we round up the interior, in conjunction with my own XC60, my model 18, and the sensors, some things were much easier to operate than this. Yes, the icons are bigger, but it's more clumsy to find it because you can't do shortcuts. On my sensor screen, these small icons, you could just hold these and move them where you want on the screen. So if I wanted to, say I wanted to turn off my head-up display, just one swiped and I had moved the head-up display to the center of the screen so I could easy access to it, on or off. Here, we do have a little shortcut menu, but Volvo have decided that we want headrest fold and reduced alarm. Also we have creep and lane keeping aid. That's the shortcut. You can't customize these. So if I often take on and off my head-up display, which I usually do, I have it on, off during the day and sometimes on during the night. But here I have to first, if we go to the home screen, car icon, settings, controls, and then let's see, lights and displays, view all, and then head-up display. How many steps was that? Just to take off on or off my head-up display. Why can't I have that as a shortcut if that's something I use? So in terms of user interface, on many areas this is better, but on some areas the customization options, the personalization, then the sensors was significantly better. So you win some, you lose some, but overall this is a really awesome user interface, and this is a good starting ground. If just Volvo would give it some options for customizations, both in the driver display and also on the screen here with these shortcuts, then it could be really on top of its game. But that was it for the interior. I'm not going to talk so much about upholstery, but there were more options before, let's say it like that. Say this Cardamom Nordico, beautiful, but if I want to get leather, there's only charcoal or blonde. I can't get this light brownish. And if I want charcoal ventilated leather, then I get a blonde headlining. Previously, you could just buy a black headlining. But now Volvo says, no, ain't gonna happen. So some things was better before. We had more options, we had more accessories. We had a little pocket net here on the side, on the first, like up to model 20. Then they just disappeared. Small things like light adjustment wheel on the left side of the steering wheel. Yes, they are now easy accessible. One press and then you can adjust this screen brightness. But as you see, some things have gotten better, some things have gotten worse. That was my exterior and interior presentation and also comparison against my previous MY18 XC60. And to answer the question I started this video with, is this now better than ever? Is this the best iteration of Volvo's XC60? If I compare it against my MY18, then yes, this is significantly better. This is miles better in almost every single aspect. Both technically, design-wise, comfort-wise, user interface. The XC60 have come a long way since it got launched in 2017. So this is, yes, better than ever. But if we compare it against a Model 25, is this still better than ever? Is it better than the previous Model 25? Because the only difference you may think are a new front grille, new exterior colors, new alloys, but the real difference lays in the interior. New user interface and this new touchpad. Yes, you will get the same user interface in your Model 25 as well, with this over-the-air update that's coming during 2025. But this one still has a faster processor and you have this bigger touchpad. But is it still better than ever? What do you think? Is it better than ever? Is it better than a Model 25 or a 24? In my opinion, I still stand on my ground that this is better than ever. Even better than the Model 25. It is the sum of all of these small things. Just a new front grille, darker tail lamps, new exterior colors, better noise insulation, this new touchpad, even if it pokes out. It is the sum of all of this that I still think this is the best iteration of Volvo XC60. If I could, I would go out and buy one today, but the prices in Norway are just hysterical. I have to sell a kidney or something in order to afford this one in Norway because it's loaded with tax since it's not electric. But I'm really glad that we still have the XC60 with us, because we're going to have it a couple of more years. But I'm so glad that we have the XC60 with us. Because in a time where everything gets more minimalistic and analog and electric, this is really good to have. The more analog, physical approach. This is a proper car. And I love the XC60. This is the Goldilocks in Volvo's lineup as well. So I still think this is better than ever. And if I could, I would order one today. I would go denim blue, black edition, 22-inch alloys, running boards, wheel arch extenders, and I will go for the ventilated comfort seats with massage, Nappa leather. But yeah, if I could, I would. But what's your opinion? What do you think about all of these exterior, interior, user interface? Is it better than ever? Drop a comment down below, and I would love to take the chat further there. But it's time to wrap up this video. I hope I'll see you in the next video. I will try to make a video with XC60 versus EX60 if I have time. But the next video will probably be the last one with this one. It will be the good, bad, and ugly. So I hope you will tune in for that one as well. But that's it for this time. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye bye.